you a shoulder that people can cry on. He will give you a heart that cares and a heart that loves. That's what he wants us to imitate. That's what and listen, it can't just be in church that we act like that. I think far too many with us men, there's three versions of us. There's the guy that comes to church. There's the guy that goes to work, who's a little different than the guy that goes to church. And then there's the real guy who lives in the house behind closed doors. That the wife and kids see and go, yeah, right. If they only knew. Wow. Listen, if that's you, surrender your whole heart to God. Surrender everything you got. Because you can't keep living in triplicate. Because sooner or later, the real you starts coming out. The real you is the one the wife and kids know. Amen? Love prompts us to take risks. I risked taking my family to Pennsylvania. I risked them coming back. I risked everything coming back. That sounds pretty bad. I risked my family. I risked it all, though, for the love of God. And God has never failed me. My kids have grown up to be amazing kids. So far, I got a 15-year-old. Pray for me. We still got a 15-year-old. Amen. He's starting to develop his dad's chip on his shoulder, too, by the way. And his dad's sarcasm. One of these days, there may be a fisticuffs in the poor family. The fear of commitment sometimes holds us at bay from giving 100% to God's kingdom. The Thessalonians did not allow the fear of persecution to drive out the spirit of love. They loved like Jesus did, and therefore projected his image all over the place. My prayer is that you would be willing to say, I need to project his image all over the place. Can I tell you who needs more of Jesus in your life than your co-workers? You know who needs more of Jesus in your life? You know who needs more of Jesus than the people in this church? Than your co-workers? And the people inside your door. I love the country western song that says, some of you go, man, my legs talking country western. But there's a lyric in a country western song, right? It says, he talks about the view from his front porch looking out. He says it's a panoramic view, it's beautiful. But the view I love the most is my front porch looking in. The view he loves the most is his front porch looking into his house, where he sees his wife, he sees his kids, and he's loving on what God has brought, what God has given him, and in many cases what God has brought back together. Let it start right there, that in your home you reflect the image of God. Then, when you've done that, that should be the top of the prayer list. In my home, let me reflect the image of God. My church, let me reflect the image of God. And at my job, let me reflect the image of God. Because we can't do life in triplicate. We're one person. That we need to reflect his image. That's being fruitful. That is multiplying. Every head bowed and eye closed. If you're here today and you've never received Jesus, never. If you have and you want to recommit to him, we'll get to that in a moment. But right now I want to ask you, if you have never, ever, ever said, Jesus, come into my heart, and you want today to be that day, you feel you've come here today, you've got no hope, and you need to have that hope, and you want to accept Jesus, raise your hand up right now. Hallelujah.